We're about 5 miles north of Jackson, Mississippi on Interstate 55. Several large supercells are coming through. Large areas of Mississippi west of Jackson has lost power. We're near an area of Mississippi called Canton, C-A-N-T-O-N. This is a very large and intense supercell about to cross I-55, headed southeast. They're putting out a tornado and severe thunderstorm warning right now. There's another supercell directly behind this one coming in as well. They're predicting destructive baseball-sized hail with these two supercells. Again, we've got severe thunderstorm warning out for these two supercells with baseball-sized hail predicted. The National Weather Service just put out those warnings not more than a minute ago. We're just north of Jackson, Mississippi on Interstate 55 in an area called Canton, C-A-N-T-O-N. These supercells, two of them are lining up behind each other, both coming across in the same direction of the same location. Yazoo City is just off to the northwest, to the left of the camera, and directly to the northwest above that is Rolling Fork that got hit just a month or two ago with that devastating EF3 tornado. There's another large supercell coming through Durant, even further north from our location, which is developing a hook echo on it. We believe that is actually going to drop a tornado. We may head up that way shortly, but we're going to have to get off the interstate so we can have an escape route. Our target point for that one, well, there was a piece of hail there. Our target point for that one's going to be Goodman, Mississippi. We'll get off at Goodman, maybe even Pickens before that, to be sure we don't get in the direct path of the large supercell coming through Durant. It's currently moving through Morgan City, Mississippi. If you've got a radar up where you can look at it, look at Morgan City, Mississippi for that huge supercell with baseball-sized hail. There's just below that is the two supercells that we're in front of coming across I-55. The supercell up at Morgan City is developing a very distinct hook echo with a ball on the end. I would expect any time that they're going to put out a tornado warning on that supercell that's headed for Tchula, Mississippi, T-C-H-U-L-A. These are very intense supercells coming through. There it is. What's that? What's that? And notice all the cars in front of us, if you can see, as soon as they hit that big line of storms just ahead of us, it's blinding sheets of rain. They're hitting their brakes and turning on their emergency flashers. This is a very intense storm crossing I-55 in Mississippi right now. Just north of Jackson, there's another supercell right behind it, and there's one getting ready to go through to Tchula, TCHULA, Mississippi, which has intense hail with baseball size hail coming down, and apparently it's been confirmed. Notice the huge line of cars coming towards us. They absolutely cannot see in this driving rain. We're having bits of hail falling now. The rain is just coming down in sheets and sheets. Oh my God. The wind's blowing so hard the car is rocking. Raining so hard we can't see out the windshield, but on the camera it looks like you can. Just driving rain. Intense driving rain. The wind is absolutely intense. It's rocking the car. Oh man. Everybody's almost at a standstill on the interstate on I-55 due to how hard it's raining and the intense wind. Here comes the hail. Oh man, there's the hail. The wind is intense. Oh, the hail is getting larger. Oh man. Thanks to Texas, I've already got a broken windshield, so this isn't going to hurt it any worse than it already is unless it blows it in on us. Just a note, if you're in weather like this and everybody that's driving on the interstate has their emergency flashers on, if you pull off to the side, leave your parking lights on, turn your emergency flashers off, or somebody will think you're still on the highway moving and will run right into the back of you on the side of the road. Oh man, this hail is getting huge. Oh. Intense thunderstorm. Just blinding rain, just sheets and sheets of blinding rain. And hail coming down, getting more numerous. The lightning intensity is getting just so you know, we've already put our helmets and emergency gear on. We're on I-55 just north of Jackson, Mississippi in an area called Canton, C-A-N-T-O-N. These were large supercells that developed over the last 2 hours and are crossing I-55. There was 2 of them in a row. There's another huge one up to the north of us near Goodman. The rain is just absolutely just sheets and sheets of it. The wind is rocking the car, and the hail comes and goes, but it's getting pretty intense. The National Weather Service has put out a dangerous situation for baseball-sized hail with these supercells. And you can probably hear the hail hitting the car. I'm actually surprised that the supercell to the north near Goodman has not been tornado warned. These are very intense supercells coming through. Again, we're on I-55 just north of Jackson, Mississippi, near an area called Canton, Mississippi. Very intense thunderstorms. These storms have been Weather Service warned for, that was close, baseball-sized hail. Very intense thunderstorm supercells. Again, I'm very surprised there's not a tornado warning on this one or the one north of us near Goodman, Mississippi. That was close. Whoa, that one shook the car. Whoa. Okay, we do have 4 rubber tires on here. Oh man, that wind is brutal. We came through an area just east of Vicksburg earlier on Interstate 20. They're all without power down that way from storms that hit last night. Whoa! I don't see how these cars can even be on the interstate. We can't even see out the window with the windshield wipers on. Very intense supercells coming through Mississippi, just north of Jackson, in an area called Canton. And there's another large supercell north of this location near Goodman, Mississippi, getting ready to cross I-55. It has a large amount of hail in it, potentially baseball size. And to be honest, I'm amazed there's not a tornado warning with that supercell. It looks like a very definitive hook on the bottom of that storm. Just driving rain. We've been here for approximately 30 minutes now, and it has just been just waves and waves of rain and hard wind and lightning and hail. There's an accident waiting to happen. We were going to try to ease up to the next supercell, but every time we begin to think it's time we can move forward, the rain just comes back and just sheets. If we can get turned around here shortly, we're going to try to move back towards Laurel, Mississippi, and Hattiesburg, and into southern Alabama, ahead of the big line of storms headed that way. Severe Thunderstorm Supercells were just north of Jackson, Mississippi on I-55. torrential rain. We've had some hail. The wind is really intense at times. Give you a shot of the radar. With the blue dot, the supercells that's coming through, we're right in the middle of right now. The other one to the north has been severe warned and is headed down our way. We're also trying to get, if we can get out of here, we're going to move over towards Laurel, Mississippi and catch the thunderstorms headed into that area. But that's our current location just north of Jackson, Mississippi, in an area known as Canton. And these two supercells came in and then merged. And we're in the middle of that. The one to the north, I'm surprised, has not been tornado warned. That's going into Goodman, and we're going to try to ease up there in just a second, as soon as the rain eases up to where we can see out the window. Lightning is getting even more intense. Those look like sprites on the top of those clouds. You can see the lightning coming on the downside and on the upside. It would be very unusual to be able to see them without a very fast camera to catch them. Alright, we think we can move forward, except there's so much lightning here. Alright, we're going to try to ease up to the next supercell that's going to cross near Goodman, Mississippi. Trying to catch the next supercell. It came through Tachula, Mississippi. Which is near Yazoo City. And they're all headed southeast. We believe this next supercell we're headed into is going to be even more intense than the ones that we just set through. you can see, the lightning in it is extremely intense. The hail has been reported to be as big as baseballs. Texas already broke my window, so I can't do any more damage than it already has been. I assume they could come through the window, but let's hope that's not going to be the case. Very intense supercells here on I-55 north of Jackson, Mississippi. And again, we're headed into a new supercell about to cross I-55 near Goodman, Mississippi. That's very intense. It's been ongoing now for about 45 minutes to an hour. Directly in front of us, so directly in front and just to the left of the camera. We should be running into it within 10 minutes. We're headed northbound from Jackson, Mississippi on Interstate 55. Very intense supercells coming through. This is real time. It's approximately 9:45 at night, Central Time, in the United States. For those of you who are not in the United States. This supercell in front of us is going to be very intense, and it's full of a lot of electricity. And we're going to try our best to avoid the hail area. Since we're coming up from the south, I would believe that we could do that. But this thing is very intense. Not in front of us yet. It's just to the northwest of our location, coming across in an area called Goodman, or just south of Goodman, Mississippi. Very intense lightning. But it's unusual. We have no rain where we're at after just sitting through a supercell with just driving sheets of rain for a half an hour. This is very unusual. We have no rain between that one and the one we're headed into. The interstate's going to curve back to the right in just a minute, and we'll get another direct view of the intense lightning, and we are able to see the actual outline of the supercell. I don't know if you can on the camera. intense supercell coming through central Mississippi, just north of Jackson, just south of Goodman. We're on Interstate 55. Whoa! Be a very intense supercell when we get up here. National Weather Service has just put out another intense warning on this storm. 3-inch size hail, which could be considered baseball size. Going to be a very intense storm that we're driving into. It's just beginning to move in front of us. Through the lightning, you should get a pretty good view of it here in just a second. Whoa! Sorry y'all didn't get to see that bolt of lightning. That was out to our left of the camera, which is where the supercell's coming through. In fact, we may need to pull over as soon as we can get a clear spot so we can videotape this. There's some hail falling. We do not want to get in that hailstorm. Going to be as good a spot as any. comes. Unfortunately, there's no way in live mode for me to be able to get it to fill the screen. If you tap on your screen, it should enlarge it to the full width of your phone. And this thing's about to come right over the top of us. Here it comes. This has got the driving rain. The wind is pretty intense. The sheets of rain are coming down. We can't even see out the windshield, even though the video shows it like you can, but we absolutely cannot even see out the windshield. Only reason I can see the road at all in front of us is we have our large spotlight on the front of the vehicle turned on that allows us to see at least 500 feet. We added that after the rolling fork tornado in Mississippi that we were down here for, that we almost drove into it because we couldn't see the debris flying across the road. So we added the spotlight on the front of the vehicle so we can see in this type of storms and make sure we don't drive into particularly a tornado. As soon as we can get turned around here, we're going to head towards Laurel, Mississippi and Meridian, Mississippi. There's huge storms headed that way. And over into South Alabama, around Butler. Hey, Texas got my wind chill yesterday. The hell tonight, if it gets any worse, it's just gonna finish it off. They just put out a tornado warning on a storm just north of Biloxi, Mississippi, but that's about 90 miles south of us, and there's no way to get down there. We are going to cut across through Hattiesburg into lower Alabama, where huge thunderstorms are going through Butler and the lower part of western Alabama. So we'll be taking Highway 49 down to Hattiesburg as soon as we can get turned around and can see out the windshield. Anyone who missed the first part of this about 20 minutes ago should certainly go back and see that, how intense it got. Lightning got pretty close, whoa, like that to the car, but much worse, bigger bolts. Well, we may have to wait a second. There's another cell developing over Yazoo City that's headed this way. And right now, between the ground fog that's developing and the rain, it's very difficult to see out the windshield. we're going to make the decision. We're not going to wait on the Yazoo City storm. We're going to go back to Jackson and head towards Hattiesburg and catch back up with these supercells that just come through and move towards the ones that are going into western portions of Alabama. The MAG? M-A-G-E. All right. Where are you at?
Clear.
Well, everybody got under the overpass to get away from the hail. Probably going to be driving back into the lightning. Probably ought to get on the road. There we go. These are very slow moving cells, it appears. I can't say they're moving too fast. But we will be driving back through the rain, and you'll be able to see the lightning off in the distance as we're going south back towards Jackson, and then we're going to take Highway 49 to Hattiesburg and then cut over into western parts of Alabama. Like I said, after Rolling Forks tornado, we almost drove into it up in Winona, Mississippi, a month or two ago. We added a huge spotlight on the front of the vehicle that gives us about 600-foot range of sight, or in driving rain like this, at least 100. We almost drove into that tornado because we couldn't see the debris being blown across the road. I believe these storms tonight are actually more severe than the ones we got into in southern Oklahoma and northern Texas yesterday that were tornado warned. These storms have been extremely intense tonight. If you go back to the beginning of the live video tonight, you'll see how intense the lightning, wind, and rain was. And we're headed back into those storms and some even bigger ones down towards Hattiesburg and Butler County, Alabama. and we're headed south on Interstate 55 in central Mississippi towards Jackson, and then we're going to take Highway 49 out of Jackson to Hattiesburg. Lightning earlier was close enough it had the hair standing up on the back of our neck. I mean, it was like lightning flash with thunder immediately following the flash. It wasn't too far away. Like I said, these storms actually appear to be more intense than the ones we were in southern Oklahoma and North Texas. And those were pretty bad last night. Or yesterday afternoon, evening. Definitely glad we put on that spotlight on the front of the vehicle. Supercell that had the lightning that we set through earlier is hitting Jackson right now. We're about 10 miles outside of Jackson, and then we're going to head south on 49 to Hattiesburg. For some reason, in the last hour, we've either had cloud fog or ground fog developing after these two supercells went through. And on top of the rain, it's kind of hindered our vision out the window just a little bit, so we're not driving quite as fast as we normally would, and we're definitely under the speed limit. Several of these supercells this evening has merged with each other and become quite intense. This has been the strangest year for weather that I've seen in a very long time. We've even captured two nocturnal tornadoes, one in Mississippi, one in Illinois that wasn't even tornado warned, and there was no expectations of tornadoes those 2 evenings. But we happened to capture them on video, hoping to just get a lightning show. So I do have a video out there of all of our nighttime tornadoes since last November, including the Broken Bow tornado, Idabel Broken Bow, Oklahoma tornado that killed 3 and injured several dozen. We got a little too close to that one, but the video is extremely good. It's well worth watching, particularly on a big screen TV with the sound turned up. Driving south on Interstate 55, we're coming back into Jackson. That's the lights of Jackson, Mississippi, off in the distance. One thing you have to worry about in thunderstorms like this is certainly hydroplaning, but I'll post a video from last weekend in which the car was literally lifted up off the ground by huge gusts of wind in a supercell thunderstorm that come through Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and literally lifted the car up off the ground to the point we took about 4 spins through the median. And I'll post that video. That's just some of the dangers of storm chasing or driving through storms that some people don't realize. It's not just the worry of hydroplaning, but the worry that you can literally get wind blown up under the vehicle and will lift the vehicle up off the road. Before we went in the median, we felt like we were floating on air for about 150 feet before we ever started sliding off and spinning in the median. I've never had a gust of wind do that quite to that degree before. And actually it wasn't a gust, it was continuous winds coming out of that supercell. Like I said, this has just been a very strange year for thunderstorms and storms in general. We're going to be taking Highway 49 out of Jackson here as soon as we can get down to it. Headed to Hattiesburg. Just let me know when to get off the interstate. Be able to see the lightning off to the east. That's the direction we're headed to catch back up with the supercells that came through and the new ones that's coming through south of Meridian, Mississippi into Butler, Alabama, just east of Hattiesburg. See the lightning off to the a little bit to the left of the camera. That's where we're headed. That's over towards Interstate 20 going to Meridian, and we're going to be going south of that on 49 to Hattiesburg. Stay on 55 till we get to 49. ready to go through Jackson, Mississippi. We're headed to Highway 49 to Hattiesburg into South Alabama, Southwest Alabama, ahead of these severe warned supercell thunderstorms. Radar, we've got a new set of storms coming in from the west just south of Jackson, and we're in Jackson now. We should be at Highway 49 here in a couple of minutes. We'll be headed southeast to Hattiesburg. Used to not like the storm chase in Mississippi and Alabama, but after storm chasing in the Appalachians a few weeks ago in the mountains of East Kentucky and Western Virginia, I'll pass on mountain chasing and go back to Mississippi. I appreciate it a lot more. Might be a lot of trees, but I can work around trees. I can't work around mountains. north of Jackson, Mississippi, here on I-55. We're going to get on 49 in a couple of minutes towards Hattiesburg. We're expecting the lightning and the rain and the wind to pick back up. We've got new thunderstorm cells coming in from the west, just south of Jackson, headed right into Highway 49. Jackson, Mississippi, we just set through two huge supercell thunderstorms. If you missed the first part of the feed, be sure to go back and watch it. They were intense, lots of lightning, very strong winds. Weather Service put out a warning for baseball-sized hail. Now we're driving back into them to the south of Jackson with more severe thunderstorms coming from the west. We're going to be taking Highway 49 to Hattiesburg and then to southwest Alabama, where the storms, I understand, are pretty intense right now. Probably see the lightning at the top of the screen in front of us. That's the thunderstorms that we're headed into. Yeah, there was a good lightning tonight. It is, isn't it? Based on what we can see here, it looks like part of Jackson, the power's out. We can't see any lights on any buildings or anywhere here just north of Interstate 20, and we're on Interstate 55 headed south. We know when we come in from Louisiana earlier this afternoon, none of the gas stations were open. All the power on the east side of Vicksburg was out due to storms that hit last night and early this morning. A lot of people don't realize that Mississippi and Alabama has some of the highest death numbers every year from tornadoes of any of the other states, even higher than Oklahoma and Nebraska and Kansas. Generally, when the tornado hits these areas down in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, it's a much more populated area than the ones that hit out in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Kansas. getting ready to get off on Highway 49 to Hattiesburg here in just a second. There's this much traffic out here this time of night. see the lightning off in the distance now. We're getting on 49 to Hattiesburg. Very intense supercell thunderstorms are coming in and crossing 49 to the south, and we've got another one coming in from the west. It's not quite here yet. Be long, we'll be out of the city, and these city lights, you'll be able to see the intensity of the lightning flashes in front of us here shortly. You've got a radar that you're looking at. We're on 49 going south of Jackson, Mississippi towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and those intense severe thunderstorms that's passing through southeast Mississippi and southwest Alabama. Well, it wasn't that nice of a ride earlier. But for now it is. So 49 should give us, we ought to be able to pick the pace up here in a few minutes. This is a major thoroughfare between Jackson and Hattiesburg. It's 4-laned all the way. So once we get out of the city here, or the suburbs of the city, we should be able to get out of all these lights and get a better view of this storm. Once we get to Hattiesburg, we won't be that far from Mobile in South Alabama, where a lot of the thunderstorms are going through now. And another 60 miles on that side of that is Pensacola, where they had the tornado touchdown yesterday afternoon. My old stomping ground. I used to be an EMS director over in a county next to Pensacola. And I worked in Pensacola as a paramedic. Very unusual for a beach community to suffer damage from anything but a hurricane over there. The problem with the Panhandle of Florida is they don't take tornado warnings very serious, because most of the tornadoes we received over there was like EF zeros, and you just didn't have a lot of damage. Based on what I saw from the storm yesterday, that's going to be a little bit bigger than EF0. But like I said, they don't have any kind of shelters, no basements, and they don't take tornado warnings very seriously, unfortunately. Hurricanes, they do. Moving out of the city and the suburbs towards Hattiesburg. We got one severe thunderstorm just to the right of us. And we got another one directly in front of us that is severe warned. We can see the lightning off in the distance as we get closer. We expected to run into some of these storms on the way back from Oklahoma and Texas today, but we had no idea they were going to be this intense, with only a slight possibility of severe weather. These have been pretty intense all day long, it seems like, from the north part of the state, and then this afternoon and evening to the south part of Mississippi. again, if you didn't see the early part of this stream, you need to go back. The storms were extremely intense to the point we actually put our helmets on and our safety gear because the car got to rocking pretty bad from the wind and the lightning got pretty darn close. As I said earlier, we got a severe thunderstorm out to our right. We've got several severe warning storms directly in front of us. We're headed south towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi on Highway 49. Then we'll be going into southwest Alabama. About it, but we'll stop. One car. We had a red light for one car. Start seeing the intense lightning in front of us. Storm coming in from our right of the camera towards Highway 49 that we're on, and we've got several severe warning thunderstorms directly in front of us, and we're headed south into Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Most of these storms have had some intense lightning tonight. Got to go back and see the first part of this feed. The first hour was very intense. about to enter these severe warning thunderstorms. The lightning is very intense with them. You can see it in front of us. We've already set through some of these one time. With intensity enough, we put on our safety gear. Helmets, goggles. Storms were warned for baseball-sized hail. And while Texas and Oklahoma cracked the windshield yesterday, we didn't want any baseball-sized hail coming through tonight. Thunderstorm out to our west that's coming in from the right side of the screen has become very intense. And should overtake us here shortly. While at the same time we're driving into the severe thunderstorms that are warned in front of us. I expect that they're going to merge somewhere north of Hattiesburg. That's the direction we're going. We're south on Highway 49 in southern Mississippi, headed to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where a cluster of severe thunderstorms are headed. Now, we've had a history of dropping baseball-sized hail. I don't know if you can actually see the intensity of the lightning in front of us yet, but the lightning is extremely intense. Especially to the right of the screen. Storms appear to be growing stronger on the radar and merging together. again, I don't know if you can see the intensity of the lightning directly in front of us, but it's coming from both sides and it's fairly intense and numerous. Going to do storm chasing at night, it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not a recreational sport. It can be extremely dangerous. You have to be aware of your surroundings, not just situational awareness of the storms and where they're located, but also the safety of you and your vehicle and occupants. The lightning on the camera looks further out than it is. To us, it's right on top of us. Storms in southern Mississippi and southern Alabama tonight are extremely intense. To be this late at night and still developing, forming, merging, and intensifying. The lightning that we're seeing from the vehicle is continuous on both sides of the highway as we move into Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Very intense when we get up here. so you know, I'm not going slow. Those cars that's passing me is doing at least 75. I'm going to be safe and obey the traffic rules and not jeopardize me or the occupants. Said earlier, we put a major spotlight on the front of the vehicle after the Rolling Fork tornado here in Mississippi a month or two ago, because we almost drove into that tornado because we couldn't see the debris blowing across the road. And we finally got a glimpse of it, but if we hadn't stopped when we did, we might have drove into it. So we mounted a huge spotlight on the front of the vehicle to where we can see about 600 to 1,000 feet in front of us and at least 100 feet in driving range. Change it. Keep changing. This bend, you should get a better look at the lightning. It's going to be very intense down the road here. These are some gnarly thunderstorms. Severe warn for lightning and baseball-sized hail. Was a tornado warning south of Hattiesburg about 45 minutes ago, but it's expired. Any of these storms are capable probably of producing a short-lived tornado, but currently they're only severe warned for hail and lightning. Currently, you can't see what we're seeing, but we are totally surrounded by lightning flashes right now, coming from both the west, the east, and the south. Directly in front of us is Hattiesburg. He stormed it into Hattiesburg. We're about 50 miles north of the city. Getting ready to enter the storms, and when we do, they're going to be quite intense. May even have to not only slow down, we may actually have to stop if the rain is as hard as it was earlier with those storms. Tell you, after being in Oklahoma and Texas yesterday, these storms, severe warning storms we're going into, are even more severe than the tornado warning storms that we were driving into yesterday afternoon and evening in southern Oklahoma and northern Texas. storm. These two supercells that came in, one from the west and one from the north, have merged, it looks like, on the radar and became very intense. Lots of lightning. They are severe warned for lightning and hail. Getting ready to become very intense here shortly. Totally surrounded by lightning. As we get closer, you'll be able to see what we're seeing, but we're totally surrounded by huge bolts of lightning on both sides of the road. These 2 or 3 cells, one come in from the west, 2 come in from the north. They've all merged here over Highway 49 going into Hattiesburg. The stationary front is set up just to the south of Hattiesburg, and we noticed that yesterday in Oklahoma and Texas, these storms slid right down the stationary front and created the tornadoes that occurred over there. And tonight it appears that they're doing the same thing, with the stationary front being just south of Hattiesburg. All these storms are lined up just north of the stationary front. This has been some just really weird weather this year. This is March, April weather for Mississippi, not June. This road, this is going to be very intense right through here. These storms have both cloud-to-cloud lightning and cloud-to-ground lightning with them. Right now we're on Highway 49 southbound into Hattiesburg, somewhere around maybe Maggie, community called Maggie. Closer we get to this line of severe thunderstorms, who is multiple single storms that have merged here just above Hattiesburg, the lightning is going to get pretty intense. So we're about 40 miles north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi on Highway 49, driving into this line of severe warned thunderstorms. thank the state of Mississippi for putting on this intense lightning show for us tonight. Even though some of it has been too close for comfort. close to the heart of these supercells. Severe warning thunderstorms just north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They're really firing up. Whoa, that was a big lightning bolt. I think I was out in Arizona instead of southern Mississippi. These severe warning storms on the radar look like they're intensifying again from the amount of lightning, we would say, on the ground that they're intensifying. The lightning is probably twice as much as it was just 15 minutes ago. We're on Highway 49. We're about 25 miles or so north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Tense line of severe warning thunderstorms are moving into southern Mississippi just above Hattiesburg. The amount of lightning and the intensity of it has increased substantially over the last 15 minutes. Both cloud to cloud and cloud to ground lightning. Whoa. Main part of this line just to the east of Highway 49 seems to be the most intense. As far as lightning development. got we just passed a transformer on fire and a house on fire. It looks like it might have got struck by lightning. Again, here just north of Highway 84, where Highway 84 and Highway 49 come in to connect. Like I said, the intensity of the lightning in the last 15 minutes has really intensified. As you can see on our video, this is live video, approximately 11:40 p.m. Central Time in the United States. Seems like the forward movement of these storms has also increased since we left Jackson. Part of the line of thunderstorms now that has developed as they merge. The portion east of US 49 going into Hattiesburg, and we're southbound, but on the east side of 49, and become very intense, particularly with lightning. Should be out of these street lights here in a second. Of this line of storms is now directly in front of us. about 18 miles north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi on Highway 49. The lightning is still very intense. Lightning in these storms are very intense. I'd say they were equal to or even more intense than the ones in Texas and Oklahoma yesterday. We're about 16 miles north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, traveling south on US 29. I'm sorry, Highway 49. Those who are asking, I'm shooting the live video with one of our cell phones that has good optics. We We also utilize 2 GoPros in the front facing windshield at 2 different angles to capture about 280 degrees of screenshot. And then we have 2 video cameras with 60 times optical lenses for when we can shoot outside the vehicle, sometimes through the windshield, but they're best for zooming in when we're outside to film a tornado or an event as it's happening. So optical zoom is much better than digital zoom. Optical zoom, you've actually got lenses in the camera that focus in and zoom in versus just zooming in to a single shot. That's going to get very grainy when you try to blow it up or put it on video. We do shoot everything in 4K at 30 frames a second. Because sometimes on our nighttime tornadoes, in between the lightning flashes, to the naked eye, we can't see the tornado, but we certainly can capture it on video and freeze a 1/30th of a frame where you can see the entire nighttime tornado. If you look, we have one video posted of most of the nighttime tornadoes we've captured since Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and Idabel last November. 2 of which wasn't even warned, nor were they expected. We just filmed and they happened to drop out of the sky. They were short-lived, but certainly impressive. Catching up with the main line of these thunderstorms going north of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We've got both cloud to cloud and cloud to ground lightning. We just passed a home on fire about 10 miles back that looked like the transformer was also on fire, probably from a ground strike. Very unfortunate that with this amount of storms, it's expected that there's going to be some lightning strikes. I just hope everybody's okay. We noticed that there was a very intense time about 20 minutes ago that these storms re-intensified. Then it lulled out after about 10 minutes, and then we're seeing them re-intensify with these lightning strikes like that one just over the last couple of minutes. So it looks like this storm's going to keep cycling until it just totally dies out or reaches the Gulf of Mexico. So when we get to Hattiesburg, we're only 60 miles, 45 to 60 miles from Biloxi, Mississippi and the Gulf Coast. A lot of intense lightning in the storm now, so it must be cycling back up and strengthening just a little bit. Actually pulling into the main part of this storm now. As you can see, the lightning is very intense. Almost continuous lightning. Whoa! Pretty impressive lightning, to be honest. We don't even get this type of intense lightning with some of our bigger supercell and tornado warned storms when we're out and about. Kind of a little clearing here, so we're going to try to get you a better view of some of this lightning. So these storms, we're stopping here because these storms are actually going over the top of Hattiesburg right now. And if we get any closer to the city, we're going to start getting into the street lights. This gives you a pretty good view. We've got some open fields here. So we'll stay here for just a minute and capture the rest of this lightning show. Then we may end this stream in Hattiesburg. The storms in western Alabama seemed to be dying down below severe levels, and we haven't ate since lunchtime, so we're going to try to find us a good Waffle House this time of night and get some rest for tomorrow. Actually, we'll be back out on Father's Day. There's supposed to be maybe even a heightened risk of severe weather in Arkansas and northern Mississippi on Father's Day. Thanks, Brandon. I know that shadow on the screen underneath those clouds during the lightning looks pretty intense, like it might be a tornado on the ground, but it's just we have no indication that there is one, so we're just assuming that's a scary looking cloud, and with all the lightning makes it look like there's something on the ground ahead of us there. However, we don't have any indication. There's no radar indicated or ground reports or anything of any tornado activity. So just scary looking cloud for now with all the lightning. That right there.
Yeah, I see that on my phone too. What What does your phone say temperature I try?
New storm coming over to the right. We do have a new storm coming in from the west, just to the right of the screen. It's probably going to merge with this other line, and if so, we're probably going to see a lot more lightning. We're here for a few minutes until it merges with the line. This other storm coming in from the west, we think we're going to ease on closer to the city. I think we'll get better views of the lightning out of that storm once we get up here a little ways. It'll be coming from the right of the screen. You certainly see some intensifying on the radar. some intensifying of this storm coming in from the right side of the screen from our west as we go south into Hattiesburg. that. Get in the city and too many lights. Alright, people, appreciate y'all watching tonight. We're not going to be able to catch up and stay up with the storm, and it's fading out as it goes toward Biloxi and to the south. I know it's still got a few lightning bolts left, but being in the city, it's just going to be hard to continue videotaping and live streaming it with the lights of the city. And we're getting ready to grab something to eat real quick and head north back to Nashville. Get some rest tomorrow for another day, Sunday. So y'all have a good night, and we're going to end the stream here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. It helps keep us motivated. Good night.